I'm taking you with me, Missile.
So, 10 years ago, the little girl that was Lynn wasn't aware of the meteorite. I get that, but Detective Jowd, on the other hand, there's no way he didn't know about this Temsic thing. And if he knew, what was that confession of his all about? The rocks of the gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago changed the destinies of many people's lives, like the ripples on a pond when a pebble is dropped in. With every answer I get, I learn about a new mystery. Will I be able to break the chain of mysteries before dawn? Anyway, now that we have the evidence we need, we decided to meet up again at the minister's office. Besides, there are a few things I want to ask Detective Jowd.
We found the music box, Detective Jam. Good job, Lynn. I knew you would. Once everything has been resolved, I had wanted to give this to him. You to give this to him. Him? You mean Inspector Cavanella, right? I don't suppose he'll ever forgive me. Detective Jowd. Now then, let's get this thing open. There's a certain knack to doing it, you know?
He's just gonna rip it open.
The knack is ripping it open with all of your force.
He calls that a knack? Looks more like brute strength to me. That is much larger than should
The
fit
Mary
in there.
Poppins box. You should find scorch marks on the grip. Scorch marks? When Camilla built her contraption, she used a special kind of string. It's a kind magicians use. It burns up in an instant and disappears. Why would little Camilla use something like that? I don't know. Maybe because she's a detective's daughter. Not leaving any evidence behind and all that. Haha! In the case report, there was mention of some scorch marks.
Um,
When it happened, Camilla was watching from her hiding place. She saw the flame run to the gun, something she naturally didn't include in her design. I took the gun out of the frame and replaced it with a picture. If you remove the picture, you should find scorch marks behind it on the frame too. Those marks should match up with the ones on the gun. In other words, it proves the contraption existed there in that room that day. And it didn't work the way your little girl intended, is that right? Exactly. Some cowardly culprit modified the design. But that angle was never brought up in court. And so, as Justice Minister, I must call off the execution at this point. I knew I was right. It wasn't Detective Jowd. Now I can finally prove that. Thank goodness. Thank you, Lynn. In those eyes of yours, I see the eyes of that little girl from 10 years ago. Speaking of,
did you say 10 years ago? Time to brain.
Sissel, if you hadn't come to my cell tonight, I would be gone now, without ever having known any of this. This is what I deserve. That's what I told myself these past 5 years. But things are different now. Thanks to you, my eyes have finally been opened.
Tonight, I've come into contact with a lot of people's lives and got involved in their fates. And the only reason I was doing it was to regain my own lost memory. But things are different now. We are connected to each other somehow. Stand users are drawn to each other. I just know it. And that's why I need to ask you a few more questions in order to find the truth about us.
Fair enough. Fire away. Sissel told me all about it, Detective Jowd. About the manipulator. Sissel couldn't tell you about this because the game hates Anne in particular. Yes, and it really looks like this manipulator did a number on the minister, too.
This really is a room with 4 people who can talk, and only 3 of them are.
Yeah. It's like she didn't need to ask that question. That could just have been Sissel. Oh!
Okay, please don't pick on the minister. If he dies again, I'm the one who has to save him.
Oh! Sissel, do you think that's what happened to me too? Huh? What are you talking about, Lynn? Don't tell me. You were manipulated too? That explains why she was shaking so much.
Yep. She was trying not to. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You know, initially I just assumed something was up, but like, you know, hesitation. It makes some amount of sense. She's never shot anybody before.
Yep.
But that's totally the way the Justice Minister was shaking too.
Yep.
There was always a part of me that just couldn't believe it. That image of the one who... this is you! Oh no!
What? Oh, that image of the one who shot me.
Saying this.
But now I see the possibility of a new explanation. I really thought it was Lynn too.
Same.
We just have to give everything to Anne. Voice, just take over. I'll just push the button.
No! But who is it? And why did they do it?
That is a really good question. Let's talk about Camilla's contraption.
That contraption was a birthday surprise for Camilla's mother, wasn't it? That's right. Something's been bothering me about it.
Yeah, the 3rd time you died.
Yeah. I feel like I know that device from somewhere.
No surprise there. You lost your life once tonight because of that machine.
Right? I knew it. See, Detective Jowd? No, I'm afraid I don't see.
I told Detective Jowd about it. Told him about seeing the exact same contraption tonight in a completely different place that we won't name for reasons.
And I'm sure it'll be mentioned. Did we ever go down the trap door in that room?
That's how Lynn escaped.
Right. That's very strange indeed. Junkyard on the edge of town. I've never even heard of the place. What's more, I've never told a single soul about that contraption. You haven't?
That old pigeon guy. Who in the world is he? Detective Jowd, you must have heard this name before. Temsic. The meteorite that fell in the park 10 years ago. You were there.
So you found out about that, did you?
I hear that meteorite saved little Lynn's life.
That's right. I couldn't do anything to help Lynn that day.
But in that case, I don't get it. If it's true, doesn't that mean you didn't steal somebody's life away?
What are you talking about?
Detective Jowd, you told me that 10 years ago, the person who killed the perpetrator in the park was you.
What? But it was the meteorite. I wasn't lying. I stole that man's life away, no question about it. It was entirely my fault. I was just about to shoot him. I would have shot him in the next instant if the meteorite hadn't come. At that point, I was already a murderer. That's not true! That's not how causality works! You were trying to save me! Lynn, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's really it. Huh?
Alright, explain yourself. Did you shoot the meteorite?
On that day, 10 years ago, a different incident happened in another place. Another place.
Where I shot a different guy.
Yes, in the police headquarters interrogation room. The worst sort of incident, a suspect who was being questioned escaped. Wow, I didn't know about that. I happened to be there, in the detective division. So I joined Chase. Fortunately, or I suppose unfortunately, I was able to track him down alone in that park. Objection!
That's probably you.
Yes, hold it right there. I fired a warning shot. I wanted to catch him bad. That warning shot made him panic. At the time, I was young and green detective, brandishing my sense of justice like a sword. I also had a green coat. Double meaning, you see. I made him panic and got you involved, Lynn. It was my fault. Detective Jowd. All I could see was my target. I couldn't even see you. I'm so sorry, Lynn.
This is just him really...
Yeah, really stretching the accountability.
Yeah.
The man who grabbed me died that day. These last 10 years, I've never forgotten his face. And then a few years after that, my wife Alma died in such a mysterious way. I thought it was fate, my punishment for what I'd done. Painted pictures of myself, nothing but portraits of people's faces. All the faces of the many people I'd met in my life and didn't want to forget. And tonight, finished my last portrait, the final face I wanted to remember. The final face. Face of the man in the park that day. You did call it.
Wait just 1 minute. That can't be. I saw that painting. I saw the face you painted tonight. It spawned in.
It did, yeah.
It was my face. Are you telling me I was the man at the park that time?
That's right. That face of yours is the face I saw 10 years ago. Face of the man whose life I stole, of the man who was pronounced dead at the scene.
So...
Something spooky going on.
Yeah, really.
But hold on, Detective Jowd. That can't be true. I just met Cecil for the first time tonight and shot him with my gun. And he died right in front of me. The name that I know that man in the park that day by isn't Cecil.
What?
The first minute I laid eyes on you tonight, I've been wondering, who in the world is this guy?
Mr. Minister.
Inspector Cabanella, where are you?
Just be quiet and listen. This is our demand.
What? What? Demand?
Our demand hasn't changed. The execution must be tonight. Once we've confirmed it's been carried out, we'll release the hostage.
What are you talking about, Inspector Cabanella?
He's being controlled here.
And you know it wasn't my daughter who was abducted?
Does it really matter who the hostage is? A life is a life. Even if it's the daughter of a death row prisoner.
Oh!
Once the criminal gets the punishment he deserves, the hostage will go free. Carry out the execution immediately and wait for our call.
What is it, Mr. Minister? You look paler than ever. What in the world? What's going on, Inspector
The Rock of the Gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago twisted the fates of many people and started a chain of tragic events. And even now, the chain continues to grow ever longer. Inspector Cabanella's call proved that to us. I'm just going back and thinking now. The glowy pattern that was around the rock is the same one that was around us at the start of the game.
It was around us at the start of the game.
Are we the rock?
Well, if that was us, we had the rock in our back, right?
That would be something to talk to Lynn about. Or are we actually just the rock?
Yeah, who knows?
We could... Anyway. And the greatest mystery of all has risen to the surface. Who is this me I've been chasing all night? Who am I? I'm even further from knowing than when I started. Chapter 14. That was an hour and a half. We are getting close to dawn.
Dangerously close. Like my thinking is because so Sissel got killed by the meteorite.
Yeah.
But because the meteorite was in him, maybe it gives him special immunity to like fading away at sunrise.
Okay, maybe.
But then I don't understand why he was alive for 10 years, apparently.
Yeah, so there's that part, right? Maybe it just slowed it down. Maybe that guy is Lamp.
I was thinking like Lamp could be involved in this, but it's hard to say with Lamp.
It's hard to say, but like that's a loose thread you cannot leave at this point.
Yes, it's just that Lamp. The thing is, Lamp is the one who told us about fading away.
This. Yes.
So I'm like, I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, but at the same point, that information cannot propagate with people who could live for less than 12 hours.
Well, it would have to be somebody who... It would have to be a situation like, say we get Sissel brought back to life tonight.
Yeah.
He would remember this. And then the people he talked to would remember this. And if that happened to them again and they ended up in a different situation, they could relay the information.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah, no,
that
that's true.
That would be the way it could propagate beyond a single day.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Okay, well, let's just see how it goes then.
Yeah.
10 years ago, a man named Sissel took a little girl named Lynn hostage and then was killed by a meteorite wreck.
To be fair, he wasn't named Sissel at the time, apparently.
No, the guy in the park was probably Sissel. We got what was supposedly our name from a paper.
Oh, did we?
Remember?
Oh, we did. Yeah, who the hell knows at this point?
Was it a paper? It was discussed around us, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe Lynn was reading the paper. But like, why would we have our own name in a piece of paper on our pocket, right?
Yeah. But the guy at the park wasn't called Sissel for sure. Because Jowd was
did he say that?
Called Sissel, yeah.
Okay. Well, but that's what we're going with. So maybe they mean the guy in the park wasn't Sissel. Or not the junkyard wasn't Sissel. Maybe that's what they mean. Who knows? Whatever. Let's figure it out. Maybe this is another slightly weird translation thing.
Maybe we're the cat. This whole time we were the cat.
But the cat popped out of the box and left.
That's true, the cat's alive.
Yeah, a cat's alive. Tonight, a man named Sissel met a detective named Lynn at a junkyard on the edge of town, and then was killed by a bullet. But the scene I find waiting for me on the other end of the phone line feels like the final nail in the coffin of my lost memory. What?
Maybe the manipulator can control a corpse.
Myself. That's Lamp, isn't it?
If he's the manipulator.
And
he just jumped in our corpse.
Yep. Well, no, that wouldn't be Lamp. That wouldn't be Lamp, because he'd know.
Still gotta be you.
I know. There you are, Commander Sith. Finally. This is me.
Yes, I was the tall
You
henchman.
were the other guy, yes. Sissel, where have you been, my good man? We've been looking everywhere for you. Had a little unfinished business to take care of. Didn't think it would take this long. What about your people? They sure went out of their way to mess me up. Maybe the meteorite means he can't actually die?
Like, that's stand power.
Yeah, maybe his power of the dead is to just come back. Because
Yeah.
we've already established that people get different sets of powers for some reason.
have, yes.
Wait, but then Lamp is us, because that's the only way we would know how to explain our own powers to ourselves.
I have no clue.
No, Lamp is us.
Yeah.
Wait,
He explains specifically our ghost trick.
That was us going back in time to save ourselves, and the only way to do it was to explain things.
Maybe so.
But he said, but Lamp said we couldn't go back to ourselves, so I don't get that part.
It's a good thought, but I have no clue if it's accurate at this moment. There's obviously things we don't understand yet because
there are things we don't understand yet, but the fact that what happened with Missile means that these are just stand powers. They can be whatever they want.
Yeah. They have some similarities, including going back in time, but the nature of a trick is different.
Yes. I say, I believe we fulfilled every one of your conditions in our little deal. What right do you have to complain about anything outside our bargain? We can talk about that when we get together. This will be our last communication by telephone. We'll arrive in 1 hour. I look forward to seeing you, Sissel. Dawn is approaching. The darkness surrounding my own mystery is deep, but I know it's always darkest before the dawn. Literally not how the sun rising works. Don't worry about that, I guess. Yes, we're nearing the final stages of our little deal, my good man.
Yes, sir. All preparations are complete, sir. We just had a report, sir. Lights have been spotted, sir.
Have they now? By all means, let me have a look. Yes, we're very close.
Is this a submarine?
It could very well be a submarine.
You will now disconnect from the communication cable and have no service until we arrive, sir.
Very well. Yeah, they're probably in a submarine. That would explain why they were unreachable randomly for so long.
Yeah, I assumed it was just because the phone was, like, gone, but they were physically disconnected.
Oh. Yep, there it is.
It is a... God,
basketball!
Nice. What is this organization that has a submarine?
Yeah. Nice try, Inspector Campanella. But you could never stop me. See ya, sucker. So, that submarine guy and his people have a deal going with me, do they? If that's the case, they probably aren't the ones who killed me, right? Anyway, there's definitely something behind the inspector's death. I think I'd better talk to him. Bzzzt. Hey, do you think you could wake up for me? Oh boy, still unconscious, eh? I guess he hasn't been dead for very long then. I'll just go ahead and go back to 4 minutes before his death. I'm a little nervous about what I might see there, though. But if that's where I'm gonna find my answers, I can't run away from it. I wonder if that has to do with the cat.
The cat or
The
Pigeon
cat-
Man
the
or
cat-
Lamp Senpai.
Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah.
Because I will not forget the cat. Once the criminal gets the punishment he deserves, the hostage will go free. Carry out the execution immediately and wait for our call. Yep, he went limp. That's a good point. Gee, a hostage sure is a handy thing. Gives me complete control over the top police inspector in the country. He's the manipulator. He had Lynn shoot him.
Yeah.
But then what are we? Yeah, but then what are we?
Yeah, who the hell are we?
Oh, what's the matter? All those broken that's Cabanella. What's the matter? All those broken bones smart a bit? What's it like to feel pain? Does it make you feel alive? Why are you doing this? Now, is that any kind of question for a top inspector to ask? Isn't it obvious? Revenge, of course. Revenge on all the people who stole my life away 10 years ago. So that is Cecil.
Mm-hmm. Or whoever.
I mean, that's the name he's got,
Yeah.
right? Don't be ridiculous. It was a meteorite that stole your life. Or have you forgotten that? Wrong. I was murdered by all of you. So he's just dead.
Yeah.
Detective Jowd, who chased me down and forced me into a corner, even though I was innocent. Lynn, that girl who was right there where I was running. Lynn, she was just an innocent little girl playing in the park. If that brat hadn't been there, I never would have thought of taking a hostage. That's the most self-centered garbage I've ever heard. Finally, you, Inspector Kavanaugh. Me? If you hadn't done what you did, I never would have pointed a gun at that kid. You were so proud of your spotless record. My case was the one blot on it, wasn't it? Only two people know the real truth. Me and Detective Jowd. Ooh. I bet tonight's execution will be quite a relief to you, won't it? One of the people who know about the stain on your record will disappear for good. That's why you didn't help him escape from prison. That's the kind of guy you are. I got nothing to say to you. You'd never listen anyway. Ye gods. Now then, Inspector, time to make a big red stain on your spotless white coat. This was another condition of my deal. To wipe out everybody who knew about Temsic. Revenge? That's what I'm up to? None of this makes any sense. Oh, okay, here we go. Hey, man. Mind telling me what's going on? Inspector Cavanella. He's awake. My head is spinning, baby. Am I to understand that Cabanella character, who just got shot, is me? That's right. And you're supposed to be the scoundrel there who just shot me? I guess so. But you couldn't be, could you? Huh? After all, the guy in the red suit just walked out the door, right? So, who are you? Tried my best. I guess I just have to face it. I'm not that sizzle guy. I'm somebody who's searching for himself. That's why I'm here to save you. At the very least, you have information about that guy in red. Information I need. So you came on a rescue mission now, did you? Nothing like the sound of that, baby. But there's a very important life here somewhere, a life valuable to this nation. Okay, so do your thing, baby.